Welcome in to Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I appreciate all of you coming to hang out with me, the most honest and best man in the country, state, universe, perhaps. I thank all of you. This show presented by Outkick the Show, presented by Oddshark. Go to Oddshark for all your gambling and informational related needs. As well, I want to encourage you also, if you need a mortgage right now, and your mortgage is not in the twos, go to thehomeloanexpert.com and you'll be glad that you did. They'll take your 4% rate and they will turn it into a 2% rate. They will save you a lot of money. And I know what you guys are hoping for, and that's to save money just in time for the holidays. So make sure that you do it today. Go to thehomeloanexpert.com. If you tell them that Clay Travis or Outkick sent you, then you, my friends, will get a free year subscription to the to Outkick VIP. All right, you can probably tell by my voice, I'm nearly dead. But a nearly dead man still works when he works as hard as I do. I'm still up at 4 a.m., still out there fighting in the battles, still out there in the trenches battling for you guys, even when Deadspin says I'm going to hell. I hope I don't die from this cold, because if I do, at least my sinuses will get cleared up because it's going to be so hot. That's why I got a beach house. So I'm prepared for dealing with excessive heat once I actually die. Once you've lived on the Gulf Coast during the summer in your beach house, nothing can surprise you about being in hell. You don't get any hotter because it's as hot as hell there. Here is what, if you haven't heard, actually happened yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, one of you tweets me that Deadspin, the blog that's owned by Hulk Hogan, and that he bankrupted the website, which I was, by the way, an editor of a decade ago, before I decided to leave and become infinitely more successful than anybody who still works at Deadspin. Even if you combine everybody who's worked at Deadspin, past and present, and stack them all up with all of their achievements, they're still inferior to me by myself, which really drives them insane. Here's what one of their writers wrote. Maybe sites like Outkick are flourishing in the age of Trump. First of all, let me read this for you, and then I'll do what I did on the website, which is break this down. This is the final one of its closing paragraphs. Maybe sites like Outkick are flourishing in the age of Trump, but let me tell you something. There will be a reckoning. Maybe Clay Travis won't pay professionally for his horse shit, but he'll pay anytime he's got to look a woman in the eye. He'll pay anytime someone on the street says to him, hey, I saw your tweet. And he's got to worry about what they're going to say next. And he'll pay at the gates of hell. Deadspin said that I'm going to hell. Deadspin, who published Brett Favre's dick, who published the Aaron Andrews naked video, who has put all sorts of ridiculous things on their website over the years, said that I'm going to hell. Unbelievable. Like, literally, they said that I'm going to hell. Based on what exactly, we don't know. But this is a true analogy here. So I thought I would break down, just like I did on the site. I would encourage you to go read this. I would encourage you guys to go read this, my breakdown, up at the front page of Outkick.com. But let me do every single line here, okay? Maybe sites like Outkick are flourishing in the age of Trump. We have been flourishing since I started Outkick in 2011. I was a multimillionaire before Donald Trump got elected, and I'll be a multimillionaire after Donald Trump leaves office. Donald Trump is neither good nor bad in the grand scheme of things for how much money I am going to make, because I am going to make a ton no matter who the president is. I would be a multimillionaire if Hillary Clinton was president. I was a multimillionaire when Barack Obama was a president. I will be a multimillionaire when whoever after Donald Trump is the next president. The president does not impact whether or not I am rich. That's the truth. Now, I happen to believe that everybody out there grabbing their pearls, running around, shrieking over Donald Trump is losing their mind, because last I checked, the stock market is on a roll. We'll get to this at the end, but Amazon by itself has added $50 billion in market cap value today. If you look at Twitter stock is on a tear right now. I told you to buy it a while ago. I told you to buy it down at 13. We're coming up before long on a double from 13. WWE is going to get bought out by somebody. I told you to buy it a long time ago. I got a bunch of it too, all right? We are going to make a lot of money. $62 billion Amazon is up, somebody is saying right now, just today. Put that into perspective for you. Fox, 21st Century Fox, pretty big company, is worth $47 billion. So today, Amazon by itself has had a market cap increase in value $15 billion more than what 21st Century Fox is worth. And that's a pretty big company. So right now, stock market's at an all-time high. Unemployment is near an all-time low. Per capita income for the average family member has never been higher in the history of our country. Right now, the country is going pretty well. You might hate Donald Trump. Got to give him credit for this. The tax cut, Wall Street loves it. The corporate tax rate getting cut back from 35%. The market is voting with trillions of dollars in increased value. They believe that the pro-capitalist agenda, pro-markets agenda of Donald Trump, whether or not he can get it passed, is incredibly beneficial to our country. So that is the truth. I hope the tax cut passes because I make millions of dollars now and I would like to pay less tax than I theoretically would have to pay without it. But this idea that all of my critics have, that the reasons I'm suddenly successful is because Donald Trump got elected president, is categorically insane. But let me tell you something. There will be a reckoning. There will be a reckoning, says Deadspin. You know what a reckoning is, brother? It's when Hulk Hogan leg drops your pathetic company's ass and bankrupts you. That's a motherfucking reckoning. That's what happens when you're illegitimate, illogical liars, Hulk Hogan and all the Hulkamaniacs, brother. They drop a leg right on your pathetic loser-ass company and they bankrupt you. That is what is called a reckoning, brother. People like me don't have reckonings. Our reckonings only happen when we go to the bank and they say, holy fuck, you've got more money? When I invest in a company and they say, holy fuck, you're going to make a lot more money off this. When I buy a building downtown. When I buy a building in another part of town. When I'm buying things left and right. That ain't a reckoning. That's called capitalism, motherfuckers. And it ain't going to happen to me because my karma's good. I have great karma. Great hair and great karma for the record. Maybe Clay Travis won't pay professionally for his horse shit, but he'll pay anytime he's got to look a woman in the eye. First of all, I don't look women in the eye. I blew that joke. I was going to tell them I'm a gentleman. I tell them to close their eyes before I come on their faces. Come on. This is a ridiculous line. Come on, I'm a gentleman. I wouldn't shoot loads right in women's faces, right in their eyes without telling them to close their eyes first. I'm a gentleman. It's a joke. The truth of the matter is this. Clay Travis won't pay professionally for his horse shit, but he'll pay any time he's got to look a woman in the eye. Come on, that's so stupid. That is so fucking stupid. Well, I don't even know what that means. Like anytime he's going to have to look a woman in the eye, like my wife, like my mom, like the countless other women all over the country. I mean, this is just a ridiculous proposition, right? This is just a ridiculous composition. Oh, clutch the pearls, faint on the couch. Somebody made a joke. Oh my goodness. I can't believe somebody made a joke that I don't like. How could they make a joke I don't like? I sound like an Italian man now. The truth of the matter is this, all right? The truth of the matter is this. I would encourage you to go find anybody that I've ever worked with, male or female, and have them come out publicly and say anything other than Clay Travis treats me the exact same as he treats everybody else. May not be well. He may make fun of me. He may act like a jerk sometimes. But he treats me the exact same way that he treats anybody else. He's not going to be able to look a woman in the eye. What the hell does that mean? It's so ridiculous. He'll pay any time he's got to look a woman in the eye. The only time I pay when I look a woman in the eye, like I said in my article, is with my wife. Because she's got 3 credit cards and inevitably she's running up more charges. That's when I pay. Any married man knows exactly what I'm talking about. You pay every time the credit card bill comes due. And you think, why in the world do we have all this shit? How do we spend this much money? That's what I think every single week. So, yes, it's ridiculous. He'll pay anytime someone on the street, says Deadspin, says to him, hey, I saw your tweet, and he's got to worry about what they're going to say next. What the fuck does that mean? He'll pay anytime someone on the street says to him, hey, I saw your tweet, and he's got to worry about what they're going to say next. You know what they say? and I fucking love you. And you're the reason that I have Twitter. Nobody in the history of my Twitter account has ever come up to me and said, hey, I saw your tweet in a negative way. It's never happened. Not at any point in the history of my Twitter account has anybody ever come up to me and said, hey, I saw your tweet, and then like as if I'm going to be trembling, oh my God, what is somebody going to say after they start off a sentence with, hey, I saw your tweet? Will I ever be able to recover from the trembling that's going on right now because somebody said, hey, I saw your tweet? I've never had somebody say, hey, I saw your tweet in anything other than, and I fucking loved it. Or, and you're the reason that I have Twitter. People only give me compliments. And it's people all over the nation now. I'm wearing my Florida shirt now. Outkick used to be based in the South. We're not based in the South, just the South anymore. I can go anywhere in the country, and we have huge fans. I was at the Dodgers game on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, Dodger fans everywhere in LA want to get their picture taken with me because they're a fan of Outkick, and we've expanded our base. We now have California. We've now got the Northeast. We've got everywhere people loving what we're doing at Outkick. So this idea that people are going to say they don't like what I'm doing, get out of here. Like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And finally, and he'll pay at the gates of hell. Like, this is what Deadspin said. If you're just tuning in, this is unbelievable. And yeah, maybe sites like Outkick are flourishing in the age of Trump, but let me tell you something. There will be a reckoning. Maybe Clay Travis won't pay professionally for his horse shit, but he'll pay anytime he's got to look a woman in the eye. He'll pay anytime someone on the street says to him, hey, I saw your tweet, and he's got to worry about what they're going to say next, and he'll pay at the gates of hell. This is what Deadspin said about me. Deadspin said, I'm going to hell. And by the way, I may die from this cold. I can barely actually breathe. Right now, but I'm going to 100% be honest. So that's what Deadspin said, all right? So any questions about what Deadspin said, I would encourage you to go read Outkick and read what I have said there, and you'll be glad that you did. And what is this? All right, I'm going to have to block a couple people. Just happening to read the comments, and easy rule. If you comment on the topics, you're dead. No need to be here. If in any way you are boring me and I happen to look over and see what you said, you are dead to me. You're completely finished. So that is true. Respect the topics. Respect the topics. This is my show. I can talk about anything that I want. If you don't like it, you can leave. That's the truth. Second topic. Here we go with Bob McNair. Did you see this story? It's an amazing story. And this is crazy. Bob McNair, how old is Bob McNair? Bob McNair is an old dude, right? Like, I'm actually looking him up. Bob McNair, let's see how old Bob McNair is. He's an American business philanthropist. Let's see how old Bob McNair is. Bob McNair is 80 years old. He will turn 80 years old this year. Bob McNair is going to turn 80 years old this year. If you've ever had a grandpa, you know that a lot of times grandpas are not on top of speech patterns, right? He's 79. He's going to turn 80 this year. Bob McNair said that he wanted to make sure that his business had good control. And he said he didn't want the inmates running the prison instead of the inmates running the asylum. The inmates running the asylum is a very common cliche that is often used to dictate the idea that employees would take control of a larger company and the decisions that they make would be different than the ones that the owners would use. It's not that substantial of an issue. Inmates running the asylum is a hugely famous cliche. Does it surprise you that a nearly 80-year-old man might get his cliches mixed up and say you don't want the inmates running the prison? As a result, everybody has lost their mind over this article, and people are like, oh my God, he's so racist. This guy is so racist. We got to do something about it. Oh my God, I can barely breathe. And so, as a result, everybody is fake triggered, including, I think it was Troy Vincent, who was at the meeting, and he's like, I've never been called an inmate in my entire life. It's a fucking, oh Jesus, it's a fucking analogy. It's not the truth. It's a cliche. It's a analogy. It's a metaphor, whatever you want to call it. It's total faux rage here. Everybody knows what he is trying to say, and it's that the inmates are running the asylum. I don't know. I might be dying here. I might be dying here, and I might be going to prison. It's not like they're actual inmates, and it's not like they're actually in prison. And it's also not like the inmates running the asylum means that everybody in the NBA is crazy, or everybody in the NFL is crazy, or any other analogy there. If I say, yeah, the reason why I want to run Outkick is because I don't want the inmates running the asylum, it doesn't mean that I think everybody else is. I mean, it's so stupid. I think people haven't heard this analogy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And by the way, I can barely breathe, so I'm going to have to cut the show maybe short today because I'm about to die here. Give me a break. Give me a break here to try to read. But this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable to me that this has turned into a story. Because it's totally fake. Because it's a totally fake story, and anybody trying to turn this into a real story should know better. Everybody out there should know better than to treat this as if it's a major story. I actually read the whole story, and it was kind of interesting to see what the owner's perspective was, what the player's perspective was, and to study it all, to read it. It's a good reporting to get inside of those rooms, but this was not that important of a detail. Furthermore, it says that Bob McNair apologized in the room for using the wrong analogy after Troy Vincent overreacted and said, I've never been called an inmate before. I've never been called an inmate before. You weren't called an inmate, dude. It's like saying easily, we can't let the employees run the business. That's the exact analogy he's drawing. If he had just said, we can't let the employees run the business, then everybody would understand it. It's totally faux outrage. Bob McNair's had to put out a statement. He didn't do anything wrong. This is so stupid that this became an issue. Again, the guy's 80 years old, and he misspoke when it came to an analogy. And he was trying to say that he didn't want the inmates running the asylum. Instead, he said he didn't want the inmates running the prison. And your typical pearl clutchers, they grab their pearls, and they fall back, and they're triggered, and they're upset. And there's absolutely no basis for it at all. He's just an old dude who misspoke. All right, finally. I do think this is interesting. Amazon is up over $60 billion today after reporting earnings that impressed Wall Street. And as a result, I think you need to be paying attention to this. I like to talk about larger business issues. Amazon could basically, for $60 billion, what their increase broke in through today is enough, crazily, to actually probably buy every NFL team in one fell swoop. In other words, to put into perspective how much Amazon increased today, they could probably buy the entire NFL today with just what they increased in value with. This is an intriguing question. Would in general it make sense for a company like Amazon that's as big as they are to just try to buy a whole league? I'm actually kind of intrigued by this idea. I know the UFC sold. I think that the WWE will sell at some point soon. But this is an interesting and intriguing question. Why not buy a whole league? Instead of Amazon paying billions of dollars a year for the NFL to rent it and to put it on Amazon Prime, why not go out and just buy the whole league? If you really want to get into sports, why not buy your own league? Buy the MLS. Buy whatever you want. The NFL may be incredibly overvalued. That's a fair approximation. And I think the NBA is incredibly overvalued too. I think now is not the time to be buying stock in sports companies. But I do think it's an intriguing question because if you thought the value of sports leagues were going to increase, why not buy instead of rent? Everybody's renting right now, putting the games on, making a little bit more money off of it. But with Amazon being a $500 billion company, Fox right now has basically half the NFL from the NFC for what they pay. Amazon in one day increased in value more than the entire Fox corporation. Think about how big that is. CBS and Fox combined are a pimple on the ass of Amazon. CBS and Fox have the biggest rights to all of the NFL. I'm intrigued to see what Amazon's going to be, but they are going to an entirely different world and different stratosphere with the amounts that they are increasing now. When you go up 10% and you are a $50 billion company, and right now I'm looking at it as the stock market comes up on the final hour of the week, and Amazon is up $128. They are now a $530 billion company. Fox, which is a pretty big company, is a $48 billion company. Disney, which is a pretty big company, is now roughly a third the size of Amazon. Less than a third the size of Amazon, like a fourth the size of Amazon. Netflix, which has got Stranger Things 2 coming out today, is of less than like a seventh or an eighth of the size of Amazon. I mean, there just aren't very many comparisons. I am fascinated. Amazon could certainly buy ESPN, but why would Amazon buy ESPN? Especially as news has broken that ESPN is firing more employees. ESPN's a broken business. I told you before this news broke months ago that ESPN was going to be releasing more employees. Think about what ESPN's business is, guys. It doesn't make any sense. Amazon is in the business, and so is Netflix, and so are most content creators, of creating entirely original content. Like Stranger Things 2 that came out today is a Netflix original that will exist for years. People will be watching it, right? What ESPN does primarily is rent other people's content and put it on television. It's like the difference between having your own friends and having friends that only come by because you're rich. And so to me, I think it makes absolutely no sense. I think it makes absolutely no sense because ESPN's basically a middleman. And if Amazon wants to get in the business of being a middleman, they can pay more money than ESPN does for the rights that ESPN has, including Monday Night Football starting soon, and they will just take it over. So ESPN, they're laying off people, their business is broken, they are falling apart for a simple reason. Because they are a middleman and they don't produce original content that people actually want. And in a larger context, they're also falling apart because in addition to the fact that their business is collapsing and they have no original content that matters, they also, on top of that, are managing to alienate everybody who voted for Donald Trump or everybody who doesn't think that Donald Trump is a total idiot. So, what questions do you guys have? I'll answer a few questions and then I'm off to try and see if I can survive this cold. I do like Sam Ponder. I think she's nice. What questions do you guys have? I don't have a lot of issues with ESPN's. The Kiko Alonso hit, I think he should be suspended for it. Love to come to Georgia, Florida. You can hear me. I can barely breathe. The Outkick group will be tailgating at Georgia, Florida. Any groomers? I'm hoping that it's going to happen. No one at Relevance writes for ESPN anymore. I don't think Jamel Hill will be laid off. No. Georgia is gonna crush Florida. It's not going to be close. I've not seen the new Stranger Things yet, but I'll start watching it today. When are you coming to New York City? Hopefully by the end of the year. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. in the end of the year. I'm going up to hear the Supreme Court argument on the sports gambling case. I am going to drink honey to help my cold. Thank you. Come to Mizzou versus the Vols. Probably not going to do that. Why is Amazon worth so much? Very good. You guys, lots of great questions. Thanks for the feedback. If you like my performance, Dave Rubin, it was a great interview. I tweeted it out. I think you guys will enjoy it. I love Stranger Things. I don't think it's overhyped. I think it's legit. Any new groomers? No, I'll tell you. I hope it's going to happen. It's the first time I've ever rooted for Kentucky to beat Tennessee and just go ahead and end it. Come to the Iron Bowl, probably not going to do that either. I don't like to travel anymore. I like to sit and watch all the games on my television myself. Thank you for the go read the column on Deadspin. All right. Love all of you. Appreciate the time that you have spent with Outkick this week. I'm going to go try to get healthy. I'll be here gambling. All the gambling picks are up. We're going 11-0. I'm very confident in them. They start tonight. Make sure that you make those picks. Kisses to everyone. Go buy your Outkick shirts. These went to going to Florida for charity. We got a bunch of different situations. Appreciate all of you, and I will see you tomorrow. We'll be doing a pregame show tomorrow morning before the kickoff. We'll talk gambling. We'll talk all the latest. I will see you guys. Love you. I'm Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Coverage. DBAP.